Robert Peston has highlighted the truly shocking figures on the collapse in trade between Britain and the EU since the start of the year. Trade between the UK and the European Union plummeted in January, according to the Office for National Statistics (ONS). The new data shows exports to the EU fell by 40.7% in January, while imports of EU goods dropped by 28.8%. Mr. Peston described the statistics as truly shocking, but suggests there may be an explanation behind the vast change in activity. He wrote on Twitter, "A big question about today's truly shocking figures and January's collapse in trade with the EU is whether the underlying cause is symmetrical or not between the UK and EU. The UK imported less in large part because of stockpiling in the weeks before the end of the transition, but was stockpiling as strong in the EU, or have EU businesses started to buy from businesses in other nations? This is a vitally important question for our prosperity." The ONS states trading levels in recent months have been atypical due to the practical challenges and temporary factors of Brexit. They note November and December 2020 saw an increase in imports and exports of goods, which coincides with Mr. Peston's assumption stockpiling increased in the months leading to Brexit. The report states, November and December 2020 saw increasing imports and exports of goods, particularly in machinery and transport equipment and chemicals. These increases were consistent with potential stockpiling of goods from the EU in preparation for the end of the EU exit transition period. UK goods imports from the EU also peaked in the weeks approaching previous Brexit deadlines in March and October 2019. The ONS also points out data from the Business Insights and Impact on the UK Economy Bulletin suggests that importing and exporting began to increase towards the end of January. It states, the proportion of businesses reporting that they were unable to export decreased by 5.4 percentage points between the reporting periods the 11th of January to the 24th of January and the 25th of January to the 2nd of February. Similarly, the proportion of businesses reporting they were unable to import decreased by 3.0 percentage points between the same reporting periods. The data, published this morning, shows the 40.7% drop in exports to the EU equated to £5.6 billion in trade. The fall in imports saw £6.6 billion lost.